Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing good. So today's video is going to be on something that I personally know a good bit about, and each video until the month of June is over, I'm going to do a video kind of touching base on issues and my experiences within the gay community, and hopefully it can help somebody out or speak to them. But one topic really I guess stood out to me for today that I guess kind of hits harder than any of them, and that is body image issues and like such an emphasis on physical appearance in the gay community. It's definitely something I think has turned into a problem. It's something that is very much there that I don't think should be quite as much. I feel like as gay men, we focus so much on physical appearance that we forget about the other qualities that make a human being a person. Like, there's so much more that goes into somebody than how they look. I mean, you have personality, they have talents, their beliefs, and to me, all those combined together, that's what creates a beautiful person. It's not because somebody has a six-pack abs, or somebody has the perfect hairstyle, or somebody is, dark, tan, and handsome. To me, at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter, because somebody's personality will, to me, add to their physical appearance if they have good qualities, and if they have the normal society beauty standards, and they're just, everybody thinks they're drop dead gorgeous. If they have a crappy personality, then to me that's going to make them less physically appealing. And I know for me, when I finally came out at 17, I wasn't really expecting it to be that bad, because you're supposed to fit in to these different stats. You need to fit into them. You have these certain tribes that you have to fit into. I finally found out I don't know how I found out at 17 that, I was younger. I had the baby face. I had the long bangs, and I was real slim. Everybody said I was a twink, and I finally looked into that, and I realized that's like a big thing in the gay world, are those tribes. And I was like, well, that's what I have to be. That's who I have to be. And from having that mindset of having to feel like I have to fit in to like these standards, I mean, that really created a lot of negative mental habits of mine. And, they still carry forward to this day, but not as bad, because I've kind of learned to just be myself and to not really focus on looking good for everybody else, because everybody always complimented me on my looks. That always got me really, good looking guys. It always got me places. It helped when I was getting jobs and stuff. And so I thought, well, that's probably my best quality. I completely ignored my personality. I was like, well, I always have to look good. I always have to look good. And, I have to look this way in order to find someone who would want me, to find love. And I mean, it led to, honestly, it was just a big disaster. I mean, I developed an eating disorder. And I don't know, I got so small and skinny and wasn't eating that, I started getting sick, and my health started declining, my mental health started declining. And it just led to a very, like an almost anxious and unhealthy lifestyle, because I was always so self-conscious on how I looked. And I know it's not just me, because I see it all the time with guys. I mean, if you've had Grindr, there's like the stats on there, and they don't want you unless you look like this, or you have to look like this, or you don't have this. And I mean, it really is, it's very toxic to people, and it can really, I think, damage a lot of people's self-esteem. And I just don't think it's something that should be as strong as it is. But, honestly, I don't really see it going away anytime soon. All I can do is speak out about it, and, hope maybe to change somebody's mind, change somebody's heart, and to kind of break these like habits and these ideas that society thinks we should look like or should be. Because I just know, like, when I look back on my life, I felt like I never like fit in with my family and the people that I was with before I came out. I always felt so different. I felt like I didn't belong. And then, when I finally came out and accepted who I was and went into a group of people that felt the same I did, I still didn't feel like I fit in. There was always a part of me that was never good enough. And it was usually always related to my looks, I guess, because I know, like, the previous relationships I've been in, I noticed that at first when I met them, it was all about appearance, how I looked. They were never really interested in my personality and my talents. And, all they thought about was, oh, he has pretty eyes, or he has pretty hair, blah, blah, blah. He has a nice body, all this. But they never really cared about the fact that, I play guitar, I love music, I love to exercise. I love to be outside. I love learning about history. I love all that stuff. And nobody really ever took a genuine interest in that. And a lot of that was my fault too, because I felt that wasn't important. I felt like I had to focus on outward things, very shallow. And I was very shallow about it. But I was never quite like that with others. I have always been more one of those, and I guess that's why I'm making this video, because I see through a lot of it. I was one of those that really focused on people's personalities more than their looks, because a lot of the guys I've dated in the past, people were like, oh, you look too good for him, blah, blah, blah. I mean, and, just shallow. And, I'm sitting there thinking, you don't know him. Like, you don't really even know me all the way. You could be around both of us and decide that you may not like things about me. You may think I'm the ugliest person that's ever lived. You may look at him and think, wow, he's the most attractive guy that's ever lived, once you really got to know him. And so I never really focused in on looks for the most part. I dated a few people in my past just because they look good. And, I think most people have done that before, when you're young, and, I learned my lesson from it. And that's one thing that I've gotten out of fully today, though. And as far as like looking at myself, like when I look in the mirror now, I don't really sit and nitpick myself like I used to. I mean, I would look in the mirror every day. I would weigh myself every day. I measured every bit of food that went into my body, what kind of quality food it was. And yes, but I thought I was taking care of myself. I thought, oh, I'm just eating healthy. But my intentions behind it were not of self-love at all. And self-love is something that I don't feel is kind of pushed on us in the gay world, as it should be, because like I said earlier, we feel like such outcasts, and you think that we would push more of self-love, but it feels like a lot more of just self-hate, like because you're not a certain way, or you don't fit in with a certain group. And a lot of gay men are really mean to each other. I mean, they are really mean to each other. Like the dating apps, and like I said, with Grindr and stuff, if you don't fit somebody's physical stats 100%, I mean, they will be very vicious and mean to you. And I really think it's awful. Nobody should be mistreated because they look a certain way, because most of the time you really can't help that. You can't help what color you are. You can't help what color your eyes are. I mean, you can't help it. And you shouldn't base your life on trying to change just to look appealing to somebody. And that's what is shoved down our throats so much every day on social media, is you have to look like this. You have to have this. You have to be this way. And it's awful, because even me, like I get on Instagram, I scroll through my content, and, I look through all these posts, and it's just so superficial sometimes. And I just sit and think, I'm just like, why am I even on this? Why am I on this? And even YouTube can be, it can be superficial in here too, but that is not my purpose in this at all. Like, this is more about helping people. This really isn't about me. This is more of like helping you guys out. And, this is one thing that I felt that I really needed to like speak out on, is because you shouldn't base so much on the physical. You need to look on the inside. Look on the inside of yourself. Don't focus so much on how you look. Like, one thing that I did was, instead of like waking up and looking in the mirror every day and stepping on the scale, I decided to go out and go for a walk. And during that walk, I decided to give myself affirmations of, I am beautiful the way I am. I'm gorgeous the way I am. I love my body. I love myself. And when I really put that effort into changing that old mindset and old belief system, I had a lot of changes that happened. I really put the time and energy into learning to love myself for how I am. Yes, I still have my days. I had one not long ago that I woke up and I was like, hot damn. I was like, I look a mess today. But, it's okay to fall back, but you have to keep going. And that's what I did. So I, went for a walk, had my little time with myself, and, I felt better after that. And, after a while, after you repeat stuff in your mind, it will become a belief, it will become a habit. It does for me. And I noticed that, even a lot of my friends that are, they're involved in the gay community, they have the same issue I do. They'll tell me they feel ugly or all this. And it's really sad, because like when people feel like they don't fit in or they're ugly or whatever, it's not going to create a healthy person. And then that's the ripple effect. Like, if somebody's unhappy, they're going to show that unhappiness, and it's going to make a ripple effect out and affect everybody around. And then before you know it, one little thing you did or said it's affected multiple people. And I think it's time as a community that we really get out of that mindset. We really need to learn to love ourselves, to really help people focus on what truly matters. What truly matters. You know, you as a person inside, your heart, your belief, not on the color of your hair, not on the color of your skin, not on if your body looks a certain way. And also, guys, one thing I truly found out is every single person has different qualities that they find attractive that others don't. We're all unique. And there's things that like I find attractive on a man that is not what society would call beautiful. And these are physical things like, you know, it can be somebody's size, somebody's weight, somebody's hair color. It really doesn't matter. Somebody's age, older men. Like, you know, society will tell us that this is what we should like, but deep down we all have our differences and what we like and dislike. And so nobody really can define beauty but you. At the end of the day, like, there is no definition of beauty. Like, don't ever let anybody tell you what beauty is and what beauty isn't, because that goes down to what you believe and what you like and what you long for. And that's something that I realized too. And so I got into my mindset is like, what do I find beautiful? What do I find attractive in somebody else? And so that's what I went after. And then I reflected that back out onto myself and was like, well, you know, I don't find that looks bad on somebody else, so I'm not going to belittle myself. I'm not going to make myself want to be 20 pounds with, you know, stay sick looking and tired and all the time and, you know, damage my body like that. I want someone who looks healthy, someone who takes care of themselves. And so I reflected that back onto me, and I did the same thing. And if you give out, and like what you are is what you will bring to you. And so when I finally changed the inside right here, it reflects out and it brings to you the vibes you give out. And that is honest to God truth. And I learned that, and you know, that's one thing that I'm very thankful is that I was able to kind of rise above all that, because some people never do. I mean, I see people that are like on 40s and 50-year-old, and they're still just, you can tell they are so focused on how they look to get likes and followers and to get men. And it's really, I don't want to be that. I don't want to grow old and be so worried about how I look. Like, I want to get older and look back and think, wow, you know, I want to look back at my achievements, at how I progressed in life, look back at the relationships I had with my family and, you know, creating my own family. I don't want to look back and remember all the shallow stuff and that be what I spent my life worrying about, because to me, that's no life to live. And so y'all, if y'all are having like any issues, you know, with how you look, you know, feel free to reach out. I understand it's really hard, but it can be overcome. But at the end of the day, you are beautiful, and don't like ever let nobody else tell you that you're not, because that is not true. Only you can define beauty. And, you know, if you find you're around people that are constantly, you know, belittling you on how you look or telling you you need to look a certain way, then walk away from it. Don't get involved in that, because I learned the hard way. When you do, it'll bring you, they're very unhappy people, and they will bring you down too. And, you know, that's your job to keep yourself happy. So you guys, I wish you the best, and I'll give you a video probably about 3 or 4 days, or either next week. But I appreciate you guys coming. Subscribe to my channel, like the video, and I will see y'all later. Bye.